Long ago, in the land of Israel, there lived a young shepherd boy named David. He was the youngest of 8 sons born to Jesse, a man from Bethlehem in the tribe of Judah. While his older brothers were seen as strong and capable warriors, David spent most of his days tending his father's sheep in the hills surrounding Bethlehem. If you're curious to see where David's journey and the other characters in our stories will lead, be sure to subscribe. You won't want to miss what happens next in this incredible story of faith, courage, and destiny. Though his work seemed humble, David took his role seriously. Day and night, he guarded the sheep, guiding them to green pastures and protecting them from predators. Lions and bears were common threats, but David, armed only with a wooden staff and a simple sling, faced these beasts with courage and trust in God's protection. On more than one occasion, he struck down predators with his sling and rescued lambs from their jaws. David's time alone in the fields wasn't just spent in work, it was also a time of worship. He composed songs of praise to God, playing his harp and singing with joy. These psalms reflected his deep faith and became a foundation for his life. Even as a boy, David was known for his gentle spirit, strong faith, and musical talent. One day, the prophet Samuel came to David's home under God's guidance. The Lord had rejected King Saul as the ruler of Israel and had sent Samuel to anoint a new king from among Jesse's sons. Though Jesse initially presented his older, stronger sons, God told Samuel not to judge by outward appearances. Man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart, God said. When David was brought in from the fields, God confirmed that he was his chosen one. Samuel anointed David with oil, marking him as the future king of Israel, though David's rise to the throne would come many years later. Meanwhile, trouble was brewing between Israel and the Philistines, their longtime enemies. The 2 armies had gathered in the valley of Elah, preparing for battle. Among the Philistines was their champion, Goliath, a giant over 9 feet tall, clad in heavy armor and armed with a massive spear. For 40 days, Goliath taunted the Israelites, challenging them to send a warrior to face him in single combat. But the Israelites, including King Saul and David's brothers, were paralyzed with fear. David, sent by his father to bring food to his brothers at the battlefield, overheard Goliath's mocking words. Filled with righteous anger, David couldn't believe that no one had the courage to stand up to this blasphemer who insulted the armies of the living God. Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God? David declared. When word of David's boldness reached King Saul, he summoned the young shepherd. David assured the king that he would fight Goliath, recounting how God had delivered him from the paws of lions and bears. The Lord who delivered me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear will deliver me from the hand of this Philistine, David said with confidence. Though Saul offered David his armor, it was too heavy and cumbersome for the boy. Instead, David chose his familiar weapons, a staff, his sling, and 5 smooth stones he selected from a nearby stream. Armed with faith and simplicity, David approached Goliath. Goliath mocked the boy, shouting insults and threats, but David replied with words of faith, "You come against me with sword and spear. Today, the Lord will deliver you into my hands, and the whole world will know that there is a God in Israel." As Goliath moved forward to attack, David ran toward him. Reaching into his bag, he placed a stone in his sling, spun it with precision, and released it. The stone struck Goliath in the forehead, sinking deep into his skull. The giant fell face down to the ground, defeated. David then took Goliath's own sword and cut off his head, securing a great victory for Israel. The Israelites, inspired by David's courage and faith, pursued the fleeing Philistines, winning the battle. From that day forward, David was celebrated throughout Israel as a hero, but he remained humble, giving all glory to God. This victory was just the beginning of David's journey. He would later become one of Israel's greatest kings, a man after God's own heart, whose lineage would lead to the Messiah, Jesus Christ. David's story reminds us that no matter how small or insignificant we may seem, faith in God can empower us to overcome even the greatest challenges. If this story of faith, hope, and redemption resonates with you, be sure to subscribe to our channel. We dive deeper into these sacred narratives, exploring their timeless wisdom and profound lessons. Join us on this journey, and be sure to hit the bell icon so you never miss an inspiring episode.